All right. So, social studies, one skill that we're going to need throughout the whole year of social studies is the ability to read maps. So what we're going to do is basically a whole lesson on how to read maps and different map skills that you're going to need. And there's a part where you guys need to be following along as we go. If you aren't following along as we go, you're going to have to do it on your own later. So you might as well do it with us as we type things out. So I'm going to present my screen and show you guys exactly what I mean. About 10 minutes ago, I posted an assignment on Google Classroom called Map Skills. Did you guys see that? If not, can you see my screen? So
yeah, I could see it on Google Classroom.
yeah, can you guys see my screen? Did I present it? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So if you scroll down to social studies now, there should be one thing there called Map Skills Notes. There is a link to a PowerPoint, which is the PowerPoint we are going to use. We're going to go through this whole thing together, talk about the different parts of a map and all of that. You can have this open if you want to, but I'm also going to have it on my screen. The part that we're going to be filling out is this Jones Map Skills Notes. So you need to open up that Google document, and it should just look like a bunch of boxes, empty boxes, because we're going to fill them all out. There's 6. You should see objective, topic, key vocabulary, definitions, essential questions, and their answers. Okay? So I'm going to give you guys about 2 minutes. Is that enough time to get this pulled up?
What's the
Say it again.
Is it in Google Classroom?
Yeah, it's in Google Classroom. It's under social studies. So that's the very last one. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom of classwork, you should see an assignment called Map Skills Notes. And if you want to open up the PowerPoint, go for it. It's going to be on my screen too if you want to just have it on the Meet as well as yours. Up to you.
I got it up.
All right. The main thing that I want you guys to have open is the Google Doc, though, the Map Skills, Jones Map Skills Notes. Should have the 6 boxes. We're going to fill those out as we go. Okay. How we doing? We getting there? Okay.
Yep. Ice done.
Sorry, I'm checking my attendance while you guys do that. Okay. Okay.
Not the one that
I think I got everybody so far. Alrighty. You guys got it pulled up? We ready? Okay, so on my screen, so when you guys go back to the video call, I am going to have the, well, I'm going to keep it small actually. We're just going to zoom in on it. Okay, no, I lied. I'm going to present it. You guys can see the first part of the slide, or what is it called? The first slide of the PowerPoint. It should say Map Skills by Mrs. Beard. I'm not Mrs. Beard, but we borrowed this, so. Yep. You guys all see that? I need like an answer. I can't see you guys.
Yeah.
All right. So first things first. We're going to skip the create your own note taker because you guys have notes. Usually we would do this in class, but we don't get to do this in class because we don't have it. So we made a Google document out of it instead, so we get to skip this slide. The next one has objective, key vocabulary, and essential questions on it. Do we see any of those on the note sheet that we need to fill out?
Not
The key
Really?
vocabulary.
So if we have our, oh, that's too far. There we go. So we have objective, key vocabulary, and essential questions. If we go to our notes, I see objective, I see key vocabulary, and I see essential questions. So on one slide, we can fill out 3 of these. Okay? So in those boxes, we need to fill out what the objective is. So if we go back to our Google slide, what does the objective say?
I
What is
can
the objective?
input thematic maps and map component.
Good. So I can interpret thematic maps and map components. I'm gonna copy and paste because I can, because I have the actual thing. So if we copy and paste that, oh, not that big though. Hold up. Go with like 14. Much better. So under objective, we're gonna write, I can interpret thematic maps and map components. So that means that by the end of this
I
lesson, our
can't hear
goal.
you.
You can't hear me? Who was that? Who can't hear me?
Dallin.
Who's down? Okay, I'll text it back. All right, we'll see if that works for him. Okay, so for those of you still doing it, our objective today is going to be to, by the end of the lesson, be able to interpret the thematic map and identify map components. So that's our
Did you
goal.
write that down?
Yeah, you're filling out exactly what I fill out.
It worked.
Good, Dallin. So we're just filling out the objective part. So the objective of today is I can interpret thematic maps and map components. That's our objective by the end of this lesson. So I'll give you guys about 2 minutes to fill that out. You can't type. Does double clicking in the box help? I don't know why you wouldn't be able to type in it.
Miss Jones, it won't let me pull up the thing that you put on inside of the box.
The PowerPoint?
Yeah.
That's okay. I'm going to have it on my screen, so we'll go back and forth. So you
So
can
we-
see it on my screen. Okay.
So we just type it down in objective.
Yes.
Okay.
Got it? All right. Yeah, if you can't type, I think that you got to make sure you double click on stuff to get into it. Other than that, I don't know why it wouldn't let you type. If you can open it, it should let you
Yeah.
type.
Okay.
You can make a text box too.
Yeah, if you need to, you can make a text box. And also I'm updating the permission. So maybe if it's not letting you type, try reloading the page and see if it'll let you type now.
I wasn't finished typing that
Sorry,
in.
I'm just going back and forth between the Meet and the notes. I can't see both at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, for those of you that are able to pull up the PowerPoint, on that same slide we have key vocabulary. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different things for the vocabulary. Let's go ahead and type those out. What's the first one say for key vocabulary? Yeah. What's the first one?
So what?
Interpret.
Interpret. The first one is interpret.
Interpret.
Which means being able to get answers from. So being able to read the maps. What's number 2?
Political map.
Political map. Good. What about number 3?
Physical map.
Physical map. Number 4?
Thematic map.
Thematic. And what's our last one?
Component.
Component. Which means a part, so a part of the map. So we have these 5 key vocabulary words, and I'll give you a minute to type those out too. We're going to learn what all of these are as we go along. Alex, it still won't let you type. I am not sure why.
Miss, no. Miss Jones, what are the rest of the words?
Oh, sorry. Here you go. Yeah, Alex, I honestly don't know why it won't let you type. Maybe close the tab that has the document in it and try reopening it and seeing if that'll help. Okay. Okay, are you ready for the essential questions?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
You'll still be able to see, I think,
I am.
when I type them in. So they're all there. Essential questions, if we're looking at the PowerPoint or on the same slide, there's 4. Can someone tell me what the first question is and I'll type it out?
List the type of maps.
List the type of maps. So by the end of this, we'll be able to list the types of maps that we went over. And we're going to go to the right over here and answer them later at the end. Not right now, but at the end. What about the second question?
How do I distinguish different maps?
How do I distinguish different maps? What about the next one?
List the map component.
List the map components. Oops, spell it right. Components. And number 4.
Describe the use of each map component.
Okay. Describe the use of each map component. Okay, so those are 4 questions. Okay, so for right now, I'm going to give you guys about 2 minutes. Try and have all 3 of these boxes filled out. We're going to keep going back and forth, so if you need to keep typing after, that's fine. You'll still be able to see them. You know, we can probably fill out the topic one too. We know what the topic of our PowerPoint is. Topic that we're doing today. Okay, good, Alex. I'm glad it's working now. I'm gonna leave this up until 12:50. 2 minutes. About 1 more minute, and then let's go ahead and move on. I don't want to run out of time. I don't think we will, but just in case.
Done.
Awesome.
I've been done because I copied and pasted.
Yeah, if you're able to copy and paste, definitely do that. There's not a reason to type if you have the ability to copy and paste.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay, so let's just real quick. I told you guys what the topic of today's lesson is, and that's what we're going to write in this box that says topic. What are we learning about today?
Maps.
Maps and map skills. So the topic, let's write a complete sentence. The topic for this lesson is maps and map skills. What we're doing today.
I wish I could copy and paste down what you said.
Yeah, that'd be kind of nice, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm. Then we'd all be done pretty fast.
I know. And I type fast too, so we'd be done real quick. Alright, once we get this one done, we can start going through the PowerPoint, finding our definitions of different words. It wants us to do the definition of the vocabulary, I believe. I'd have to look that up. Oh no, that's not what we're doing. Never mind. Alrighty. If you're not done typing, it's okay. We're going to go back and forth from this a lot more, so you'll be able to catch up as we go back and forth. Let's go ahead. I'm going to present again back to the PowerPoint. Okay, present, please. There we go. Can you guys see the PowerPoint now? Same slide?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have our objective, our key vocabulary, and our essential questions. This is kind of the gist of what we're going to do today. So to start it off, here's our first definition. What is a map? This is really long, so we're not going to write this whole thing down, but a map is a representation, usually on a flat surface, because a map is different than a globe, right? The globe is the circular map of the world, but a map on paper is definitely flat. Although the earth is not flat, just so you're aware. Anyway, so a map is a representation, usually on a flat surface, of which the features of an area of the earth or a portion of the heavens, showing them in their respective forms, sizes, and relationships according to some convention or representation. That's a lot of words that just they kind of go together. It's the definition of a map, but it's like really long and convoluted. Does that make a lot of sense for what you know a map to be?
Kind of, not really.
Kind of, but not really, right? It shows
Yeah.
the features of an area. So yeah, that kind of makes sense. But the rest of it is like, So it says, now what does that mean? On the next slide, we have lots of different, that's not very, oops. Lots of different things. So it says a map is a representation. So it's a drawing or a model, usually on a flat surface but we know that the Earth is round, so it's just a representation of it, of the features of an area of the Earth. So it's going to show landforms, mountains, rivers, or a portion of the heavens, which could be a part of the sky in a particular region. And it's showing them in their respective forms, sizes, or relationships. And underneath here, it says that they're drawn to scale, which means that they might be 100 miles long, but they're going to be drawn a lot smaller to scale with the rest of the map. And then, according to some convention of representation, which means using an accepted form of drawing or model. So that's, again, a lot of words, breaks it down a little bit farther, right? A map is a drawing of the Earth on a flat surface, and it's going to show the landforms, sometimes the sky, and it's drawn to scale. But then it says at the bottom, in other words, there's 3 types of maps. So we're only going to do definitions for physical, political, and thematic map. We don't need to do what a map is in general. We're going to do the definitions of the types of maps. Okay? We still following along? Still doing good?
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Perfect. So let's go ahead and start with physical maps. A physical map shows the natural physical features of the Earth. So physical maps do not contain man-made features. So if we look at a physical map of New York, it's not going to show us the Empire State Building because that's man-made. But it will show us that New York has Manhattan Island or Ellis Island, like all the different islands that New York has. So, for example, a physical map would be a map of what you would see if you were looking down on Earth from space. So it's not the man-made things, no buildings, no mainly buildings. Buildings are the man-made things, right? Yeah.
Some islands could be.
Some of them, yeah, but not a lot. Not very many. So let's go ahead and go back over to our notes. I'm going to close out a little bit. And let's write a definition in that second box down, definitions. So we're going to write number 1, physical map. That was the first one, right? Physical map. So we just learned.
The first one was interpret.
Yeah, the key vocabulary and the definitions aren't going to line up. There's more definitions than vocabulary.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So our first one, a physical map, shows the features of the Earth. Spell it right. Shows only the features of the Earth. No man-made things. Okay, so nothing is made. They don't show any man-made features at all. Just the physical parts of the Earth. So if you were to look down on a map, you'd be able to see, okay, so this is where the water is, this is where the land is, and you could probably see if you're looking, if the map is drawn well enough, like where the mountains are, where the different islands are. So the physical parts of the Earth. Okay. Give you guys a minute to write that one down. We'll do about 30 more seconds. And again, we'll be back on this page soon, so you'll be able to keep going. And at the end, if you want to stay because you missed something, I'll leave it up for you there. Charles, wait until the end, please, to talk about that, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Alrighty, let's go ahead and go back to the PowerPoint. Again, you'll be able to see this as we go. So we just talked about the physical map. where you can see the features of the Earth that are not man-made. This is kind of an extension of that. So still a physical map. You can only see the physical features. So if we're looking at this, Arizona is about here, right? Arizona, New Mexico, California, Nevada. It's all over here, but you can't tell. It doesn't have any state lines, right? It doesn't tell you where the states end or begin. You can kind of tell where the countries are just because of how this map is drawn. But mainly you see like, okay, there's a lot of mountains and stuff over here. It's very green over here. There's like a really big lake, it looks like, right in the middle of the US. I have no idea where that is or what it is. There's some brown right here, maybe like desertish area. It is around New Mexico.
It
Right,
might
so
be
this
the Salt Lake.
It might be.
Mm-hmm.
We can look that up. Yeah, that's about where Utah is. You might be right.
Huh.
We'll look it
Because
up.
it is pretty big.
Yeah, I've actually never been there, so we'll have to look it up. And then you can see all of the water around it too. So it's all the physical things. It doesn't show you where cities or states or countries kind of are. It doesn't tell you that there's this man-made Statue of Liberty over here. It's all just the physical stuff. Oh, I went ahead of the PowerPoint. I didn't even read it. So there's no actual lines dividing the borders of anything. This is kind of cool. Although some astronauts, with the use of binoculars, believe it or not, just binoculars, not like a cool telescope, are able to see the roads, large ocean tankers, and even the Great Pyramids from space. Do you guys know where the Great Pyramids are?
From Egypt.
Egypt. They're over in Egypt. We'll talk
That's
about those things.
crazy.
Yeah.
With just binoculars?
I guess so. I have
Dang.
never been to space, so I cannot confirm this, but it sounds cool.
Yeah.
That would be like if you were like in Arizona and you're at a skyscraper, you could see Utah.
Maybe in space it zooms in on that, like has a different perspective of the binoculars instead of from on the Earth.
That's
Because-
possible.
Yeah, because you can see the whole globe then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I've never, I don't know if I'd want to go to space. It doesn't sound super appealing to me, but
I ain't good at it.
The eye can only see so far.
all right, let's keep going. So that's kind of an example of a physical map. Oh, it's raining again. Sorry, I get really distracted really easily. I apologize. The next part, we have political maps. So unlike the physical map, political maps show how humans have impacted the landscape. So it's going to show the city names, the roads, the borders of countries. Those are all parts of a political map. Political maps change frequently because we're constantly adding new roads or not necessarily cities, but like country borders can change sometimes. So they update political maps quite a bit. Yeah, some buildings. It depends on the type, like where they're doing the map. So if it's a map of downtown Flagstaff, that's probably going to change pretty often because the buildings are going to go from owner to owner, and like the stores will be renamed. But that would be an example of a political map, right?
And there's in Flagstaff, there's also new buildings being built like almost every day.
Yeah, there is. NAU is really taking over Flagstaff, that's for sure.
It's raining here too.
Like
Yeah.
over by one of the spots, they're making a underground parking spot or whatever.
Oh, yeah. I think I know what you're
Yeah.
talking about. Yep.
A big, huge hole in the ground that they're making a parking spot
Yep.
cars and stuff.
That would be, yeah, that kind of thing would go on a political map, depending on if it was only a map of like downtown Flagstaff. If it was a map of Arizona, they probably wouldn't show buildings on there. That would be more of the cities and like the major highways and like the state borders for a political map. So the more you zoom in on an area, the more detailed the political map is going to get. And then the farther out you zoom, the less detailed, right? So political maps are going to change pretty frequently. Physical maps will go very, very, very slowly because geology and the geologic process, which we don't talk about very much, the world doesn't change that much very often. Like countries aren't like spreading apart at 100 yards a year or whatever. Like it just doesn't happen. It takes thousands of years for things to move in the world, as far as land. So physical maps do not change very often, but political maps can change pretty quickly. If you look at a political map that's 50 years old, it's not going to be accurate anymore. Like if you look at a political map from 50 years ago and you look at where Russia is, it's not going to be called Russia. It's going to be called the Soviet Union. It was a different name at that point.
Yeah.
Okay?
That was like a long time ago, though.
Yeah.
What about earthquakes?
That was like in 1700s.
Earthquakes
wasn't.
move around pretty fast, but not like that far or something. I don't know.
If it I just mean like a long time ago.
Yeah. Charlie, earthquakes can affect the way that the physical maps are going to look, but not a lot. Usually with earthquakes, it's just the ground shaking. It doesn't always, very rarely will it actually separate two pieces of land.
You know what's something that changes on a map a lot? Hawaii, because it never stops growing.
Yeah, because the volcanoes keep popping up.
Uh-huh.
Yep. And that last bullet here, wars and ethnic conflict are two major causes of political map changes. So, like I said, the Soviet Union changing to Russia was there was a whole war, the Cold War in the 80s, that led to the Soviet Union combining with Russia. It's a whole long thing. You'll learn about it later in your social studies career. We don't do it in this year. I want to say it's more like 8th grade, 9th grade social studies. So you'll get there eventually. But that war changed the borders of that country and how that country was situated on a map. So that's a political map. This is what a political map would look like, right? The basic map that you see of the world, where you can see the borders of all the different countries. They name a few cities in each country, but a political map is the main one that you're going to see. Okay, let's go ahead and head over to our document to write that out. Let me check our chat. Okay, we're good. So, political map. How do we want to write this? What does it say exactly?
It shows like the outlines of all the countries and stuff.
Good. So we'll say it shows how humans have impacted the Earth. And then in parentheses, I'm going to write borders, cities, roads, that type of stuff, just to give you a more in-depth idea. Okay?
Can I copy and paste that anywhere?
You might be able to take it directly from the slide that says political maps on it. It's kind of that first paragraph.
So the whole first paragraph?
Yeah, that's basically what it is. Like
Okay.
maps, yeah.
Africa has a lot of different countries if you look at it. Like
Yeah,
I
Africa
think
has
I think it has more countries than it does of we have states maybe.
I'll look it up real quick on my other computer. Let's see.
Wait, why? Maybe in a minute, could we look at the map of like on the same thing of the political map that we just saw?
What do you mean?
Like the political map, the one that shows Africa and stuff.
You want to see that again?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll show that in a second. Let's give people another minute to look it up. According to the internet and Google, Africa has 54 countries.
If we counted them all, we might get a different number or the same number.
We should get the same, but there's some
Yeah.
pretty small ones in there, so
That
you might miss
probably
them on the map. Yeah.
that probably some people there might be even some that people don't even know about except the people that live in Africa.
That is true. I'm sure if I actually looked at a list, I would not know some.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's a few that I haven't heard of.
It's raining.
All I know is that they have a lot. I don't know any of the names. I
There's
just know
definitely a
they have
lot. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go back to the PowerPoint. Here's that map again, the physical map. From this far out, I don't think we'd be able to count all of the countries in Africa. And Europe too. Europe has a lot of small countries in it as well. That would be
Yeah.
yeah.
Australia is like it just has one big. It's like one big thing.
Yep. Australia is the only continent that only has one country, because Australia is a
It's
country.
pretty. So it's pretty much itself.
Yeah. Well, I guess you can count Antarctica too.
Yeah. And
It's technically a
Arctic.
continent. Yeah.
And Arctic maybe.
Antarctica.
Well, that's actually might be part of Europe and the in North America.
What about the U.S.?
The U.S. is part of North America, and Antarctica is its own continent. So, yep. Okay, let's keep going. We have one more type of map.
Because I didn't really know what you guys were talking about.
That's all right. Thematic maps. Those can represent a different information, basically. So thematic maps can tell you what the climate is like in certain places, how much precipitation it gets, so rain, how much vegetation, so plant life it has, what the elevation is in that area, what the population is, the life expectancy of the people there. So essentially, people that create these maps will choose one theme, so they'll choose population. And they'll create a whole map that's based on the population of the different areas. Okay? And we'll look at one like that in a second. So thematic maps are generally used when you're only looking at one single piece of information. So if we look at, these are kind of small, so it's a little hard to see. If you look at the top right,
It just thundered.
yeah, I got.
Now I hear it pouring.
It's like right next to my house.
I think it might get ready to sprinkle here in Coopertown. I mean, Coopertown and Saucite don't really get much rain.
That's true.
It's normally in town, or we get the most rain, and there's like no rain in town.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Some people are lagging. Oh well, they'll catch up. So if we are,
I just only hear thunder.
You're lagging. It sounds to me like you're lagging.
it's because
I know.
the storm, it's going to affect the internet connection. So if anything, if you missed some stuff, I'm going to post this video later and you guys can go watch the parts that you missed later, okay? But if we look at the top left up here,
Okay.
Messed up.
this is, hang on guys. If you look at the top left, this is the city of Georgia. Wow, not the city, the state of Georgia. And each different color represents a different amount of population. So this like light yellow could be 0 to 1,000 people. The orangish is like 1,000 to 2,000 people. A darker orange is 2,000 to 3,000 people in that area. So the theme of this map is the population of an area. Okay. This next one over here on the top right with all the green and stuff, this is about the grape production. So the amount of grapes that are produced in the different areas. So the different colors in the areas tell you the different amount of grapes that are produced in that area. So the darker the color is for green, the more grapes they produce. Okay, so that's a very specific one, a very specific theme, the number of grapes that are grown in that area. And then again, this last one on the bottom of Texas, this one is the amount of goats that are in the area, like the animal, goat. So the darker the blue gets, the more goats there are in that area. So again, that's a very specific type of theme for that area. Okay, does that make sense for thematic maps?
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
Let's write that down. So a thematic map, not map, map.
No. Wait.
Are we good? Right, so I said that a thematic map shows a specific set of information according to a theme.
I can't find the thematic map.
It's in the PowerPoint, slide 11.
Can I copy and paste anything on the thematic map?
Probably not. Just copy what I wrote. It's not too long.
Okay.
My power went out and it froze it, so I have to get back on.
That's all right. I figured the storm might mess some stuff up.
Yeah, there was lightning really close, and it like turned our power off, and it froze it. So, what are we doing right? We're doing the same thing. Just
Yeah,
writing
we're
that out.
writing the definition of thematic map real quick.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna check the attendance just real quick, and then I'll go back. Okay, sorry. All right, so we're kind of running a little bit low on time. We're gonna continue this tomorrow. So what we're gonna do, we have enough information so far to answer 2 of our essential questions. We can answer number 1, we can list the types of maps because we just did all 3 of them. And number 2, we can answer how do I distinguish? So how do I differentiate? How do I tell the difference between the different maps? So if we were to answer number 1, incomplete sentences, what could we say?
I don't know.
So if we're writing a sentence about the types of maps, I see
The
3 types.
3 types of maps are political map, physical map, and thematic map, or however you pronounce that.
Yeah,
And
thematic.
then you can say they help you with many different. They show you many different things.
For number 2?
Yeah, for 1 or for number 2.
Yeah, for number 1, we just need to list the types, and number 2 is more what you're saying, Donna, where we need to figure out how to tell the difference between them. So let's answer number 1. We have thematic maps. So our answer to number 1, the 3 types of maps are political maps, physical maps, and thematic maps. So we're answering question 1. All right, and then let's answer number 2, and then we'll be done for the day, and we'll pick this back up tomorrow. We definitely don't have time to finish the PowerPoint, so you don't have to go do it on your own. We will finish it up tomorrow together, so no need to worry about doing it for homework or anything. So let's answer number 2 real quick. How do I distinguish different maps? How do I tell the difference? What could we say?
But I was typing on the first one.
What did you say?
No, I was typing on the first one.
Oh,
And
okay.
what was the question again?
We're answering number 2. What's the difference between the types of maps? How do you tell the difference?
It kicked me off, Miss Jones.
That's all right. Just see if you can
One
type
of,
up.
one of them only shows the physical part of the world or land.
Okay, so physical maps only show the physical part of the land.
Not man-made.
They're not man-made. Okay, so that's physical maps. What else can we say to tell the difference?
One shows the population of something.
Good. So a thematic map. Thematic maps show. So they can show the population, but they can also show tons of different other things.
Yeah.
So they're going to show information based on a theme, like population, if we want to add that in. Okay. And then how do we tell the difference with the last one? What do political maps show you?
Just the area.
Yeah, it shows you like borders and cities and
And all the humans in an area.
yeah, and human impacted areas, right?
Yeah.
Good. So that would be our answer to number 2. So I'm gonna go back to it, don't worry.